The Habs win. The Habs win. The Habs win. 3-2 over the New Jersey Devils in game number 44. Hey, everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. Another good game by Montreal, taking on another team, obviously ahead of them, a playoff team, and they beat them. It was 3-2. The Habs went out to 2-0 lead. And then, Nick Suzuki took a high-sticking penalty, cut the guy, so it's a 4-minute penalty, and that carried over into the third period. And early in the third, they got 2 goals on those power plays to tie it up. That's the Devils. And Montreal they bent maybe, but they didn't break, and they came back, played hard, and they ended up winning on a goal by Cole Caulfield. So really good game tonight again by Montreal. Really impressed with this team. They're no quit. They just don't give up. And against the good teams, against the shitty teams, I don't know. That seems to be what happens. Yeah, so I got that. I got the stats from the game. Okay. Sorry, I had a text in. Sorry. It was just a really good game to watch. It was a good game overall for Montreal. They're now, I think, just 3 or 4 points out of a playoff spot. So they're making that run. I was talking about. I think it was in my preseason prediction. They're making a run. Will they get there? I don't know. Will they make the playoffs? I don't think so. But they're making a bit of a push now. We'll see where they get with that. They're not that far. I think it's surprising. Over halfway through the season, I wouldn't have thought they'd be in there. Although I kind of did say they'll probably make a run, but at certain points of this season, there's no way you would have thought that this would be the case. So, it's a good game by Montreal. So I'll see who's in the chat. You can talk to me here. I'll do the preview, and then we'll do about a half an hour here. See what you guys think about the game. Guru, welcome back in, Guru. Good on Habs not to give up after they gave up the power play goals to tie the game, and a good result for sure. Yeah, there's just no quitting these guys, Great game, got scary at the end, but made it interesting. Yeah, no, and that's the good part about that. They don't give up because, it looks bad, but they just don't give up, and they're able to come back. And it's not over if they get, the first goal scored against them or whatever. So, yeah. Hey, Roger. It was a great game. It was a fun game. Sofka, the winner and champion right now of the second season. You're the first winner of the second season. You're the only the second winner this season, Sofka. So Sofka won the Guess the Score contest. Now, Sofka lives in Slovakia, so it's going to be a challenge. We're going to see how I can deliver that to him. But we'll see what happens. But definitely great to have I was wondering if we'd get another winner this year. So Sofka joins Bob's Your Uncle as the only 2 winners of the Guess the Score contest. So all the people that was like, nobody wins this. See, there are winners. It's a hard contest to win. It really is, to get it right. It's totally luck. And Sofka was lucky this week. I don't know what else to say. That's how it works out. So it doesn't hurt to give the guess, by the way, for the games. You never know. Because the guesses kind of dropped off from what I used to get last few years. But I think because it's hard to win and people just figure, I'm not going to win. But you never know. So hopefully the guesses will go up. It's all about luck. It is. It's all about luck. I don't see how anybody can say, "Oh no, it's a skill that I pick." There's no skill in it. It's luck. I guess by feel. I look at the numbers, try to figure out the score, and then I just sort of reflect for a second, and whatever player comes to me strongly, that's who I guess. But I don't have to worry about what other people guessed, so it's easier for me. And I still don't win. I think Sofka, the most common score in the NHL, I think, is 3-2. And I think 4-3 is next. So, but I think 3-2 is the most common score in the NHL. And it's been like that for a while. I discovered this in doing some video over the last 5 years, a few years ago, actually, that is the most common score. I think basically if you just guess 3-2 all the time, and you mess around with who you pick, eventually you're gonna hit it. Is that all worth $10 to win? I don't know, but buys you a coffee at least. It's like a scratch ticket, Except it doesn't cost you anything to make to play. All right, are we gonna talk here or what? What do we got? Who's here? If you're here, well, we got 11 people. If you're here, say hi. Let me know what you thought of the game, and anything you might want to ask me. Now's the time. We'll try to keep it to hockey here, but on Friday, I know I keep saying this, but got to keep promoting. On Friday on the other channel, so if you look in my description of this video, you'll see there is a link to Don't Puck with Media. That's our other channel. And Harry Rice and I are going to be doing a question and answer live stream Friday night at 9 on the new channel. Come on by, give us subscribe, talk to us, throw any kind of questions you want at us, and we're going to answer them. And hopefully it'll be a lot of fun, and everybody will have a good time. That's the plan, man. While you're in the description, you'll see Hab Normal's podcast and the Puck Around podcast. That's our 2 podcasts. Check them out and let us know what you think. Next week on the Hab Normals, we should be, he came in to pretty much confirm that it'll be there. We should be having Hockey Junkie on the podcast. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Plus Pete the Fist should be on there as well. Lance just letting us know how the goals were scored. Patience, Lamb. Yeah, you weren't in there at all. I noticed. I remember that now. I don't always realize who's there and who's not of the regular people, but sometimes I do. But everybody's got a life, so I don't make much of it. Because who am I to make much of that anyway? Who am I to demand y'all show up every time? Hell, if only it worked that way, it would be great. Yeah, but isn't that what makes a great game, though, right? A game that, keeps you kind of on the edge of your seat, as they say, which I am right now, and I'm trying to back up. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't know who's going to win. I think that's great. It's as good as when Habs just blow somebody away, which I like also. I have no problem with watching a game where they just rout somebody. No worries, Sufka. Don't forget to send me the email, and we'll figure out how to get you the money. Thanks for being here as always. You know that. And have a good night, buddy. It's probably pretty late over there or really early in the morning. Well, I appreciate that, Giselle. Even if you're not here, you can still give a thumbs up. It's not a problem. Yeah, if you're here participating and enjoying, please give a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. We'll get to the stats in a sec. Yeah, well, let's do that anyway right now. All right. So this game was a 3-2 regulation win for Montreal. It puts them 5 points behind the Leafs, the sagging Toronto Maple Leafs. So Slav opens the scoring at 12:48 of the first. his 6th goal from Caulfield. That's the only scoring. So it's 1-0 after 1 for Montreal. Second period, 14:45 in. Joshua Roy gets his first ever NHL goal. Makes it 2-0. Gets that from Sean Monahan and Yoel Armia. So it's 2-0 after 2. At the end of the third, I think with like 44 seconds to go in the third, Nick Suzuki takes a penalty, a high-sticking penalty where he cut the guy. So that makes a 4-minute penalty. And they scored on both of those penalties. Luke Hughes gets the first one, 47 seconds into the period. His 8th goal from Hischier and Meyer. And then Alexander Holtz gets his 11th from Nemec and Mercer. That's at 1:38. I got a cough, so hang on a sec. And that would hold right till 15:29, where Cole Caulfield would get his 14th goal from Monahan and Harris. Just a little tap in. It was in the crease, and he just tapped it in. So it says snapshot. I don't know how that's a snapshot. That was a tap in, it should say. And that's it. Montreal holds on and goes ahead and wins this game 3-2. Look at the stats. We're outshot 30-25. They kind of killed us at the dot, and they were just behind us, 0.1%. So 2 even teams at the dot, but they killed us there at 62.2% for them, 37.8% for us. Didn't help them any. Montreal was 0 for 1 on the power play. They were 2 for 4. Hits, Montreal had 11 to their 12. Block shots, 17 for Montreal, 12 for them. 5 giveaways from Montreal, 2 from them. And Montreal, 3 takeaways to their 4. Season series, they beat us 5-2 on the 24th of October, and we just repaid that 3-2 tonight. They play again February 24th back here in New Jersey. And the 3 stars of the game, I don't agree with. Cole Caulfield, absolutely. A goal and an assist. First star, absolutely. Luke Hughes played well. I could see him getting a 2nd star, but I don't agree with Holtz getting the 3rd star. If you're not given, I mean, it should be probably, you could give it to Monty, but there was another, like give it to Slav. But Holtz getting the 2nd star in a losing effort, I don't think that's right. So I'm not, but that's the 3 stars. And there you go. That's my, I just shot my load there. Not literally, though, but figuratively. All right. Let's see. Alex says, maybe a dumb question, but how many points for a win in regulation time and in overtime? If you win in regulation, 2 points. If you go to overtime, each team gets 1, and then the winner gets another 1. So basically, if you're winning, you're getting 1 point. You're getting 2 points. But if you get to overtime or the shootout, you get a point for losing. That's why they call it a loser point. If you've ever heard that term, that's what they mean by a loser point. You started your evening with a bath. Nice to have time to. No, I'm just joking. No worries. Maybe you got to get your priorities straight if you don't want to miss the game, though. All right, so we got what do we got? About 16 minutes left in this show. I usually do about a half hour, unless the conversation gets really lively, and then I'll stay a little longer. No, I don't know. It should never be 3 points in regulation, Alex. 2 points. What I don't agree with is giving that loser point. I don't really like the loser point. Sure, they give it, and I said in the stream, at least get 1 point because it's available, but I don't think that's something they should give. So personally, I think you go to overtime. They should do it. The winner gets 2 points. If it ends up in a tie after 10 minutes of overtime, it's a tie game, and they each get 1 point. So I don't like the 3-point thing. I understand why they do it, though. They want to go along with the parity in the league. They want more teams in the running 4 playoff spots as late as possible into the season. And I guess by the loser point, it accomplishes that. So, I mean, I understand it. I still prefer the other way, but I do understand it. So it is what it is, you know. And I don't think they'll go backward. Like I'm saying, I don't think they'll go backward. All right. Who's next? It encourages to win in regulation. I get what you're saying. Listen, I do get what you're saying, but I don't like giving that 3 points that way. No, I don't like it. The points are going to be insane numbers, so it's going to change all the record books. I don't like that. So, no, not for me. You know what should encourage them to win in regulation? That should be their goal, to win in regulation. They should have they get paid well enough to be encouraged just from that. That's what I think. And I do wonder if getting 3 points in regulation for a win, I wonder if that would keep it the way it is now, where more teams in. I don't think it would. I think the way they break it up is the way. I'm sure they figured this out when they did it. That's the way to keep more teams in the race longer. So it's all about mathematics. Well, we got 10 people here. Should get more questions. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy out there. Buy a cherry blossom. Don't be shy. A lot of you don't wonder, cherry blossom? What the hell is that? It's a chocolate bar here in Canada. It's an old commercial from when I was a kid. I was just a little wee lad. I don't think I'm very good at encouraging people to talk to me, but there's that. Like I said, don't be shy. Y'all have keyboards. You are here. Say hi. It might be more fun to watch some idiot try to figure out what to talk about. I get that, but it's not fun for me. Slav is not Bedard or McDavid, but maybe best choice in 2022. Oh, yeah, I think so. I think when we look back 5 years from now, there's a really good chance that Slav will still be, you'd still say he was the number 1 pick. Because you got to figure Slav's going to be putting up points, like big points next year after, and building up towards, probably a 70 to 80 point guy, in his best seasons. So he's going to put up some numbers. Yeah, I think, and it's not to say like a guy like Cooley won't, but I still think when we look back in 5 years, it'll be what, 3.5 seasons on the number 1 line, hopefully by then. Yeah, you got to figure he's going to have some really good numbers. And will anybody else match that? I don't know. I don't think so. I really do believe it'll turn out that Slav was the legitimate number 1 pick from that draft. And even if he's not, but he's in the top, but he's not the number 1 pick. As long as it works out here in Montreal, and that line, which you can see is a big line producing. I mean, that's a great line. They're already a top 10 line in the league. That's worth it right there. So as long as he works out big time, and I think he will, then I don't care how it works out for that when we look back. Besides, I really like that kid. He's got a great personality. I like seeing his interviews, and he's fun to watch on the ice. So I really like the kid. I don't want him going anywhere, and I'm happy we got him. All right, on to another question, hopefully. I don't really have anything here to talk about that I haven't gone over and over again today. We're going to talk about the game tomorrow. So tomorrow's game is Ottawa. That game worries me, actually. Not because Caden, I expect it's going to be Caden Primo. I figure Saturday it'll be Allen. Why? Allen just had a great game, but he just played. Primo needs to start. I don't think they're waiting to Saturday to start Primo. It'll be tomorrow. And that's not why I'm worried, because Primo's been really good. Ottawa gives us problems. And it's a trap kind of game situation, right? It's a team we should beat. Montreal, they like to play down to those teams. So I'm worried about that. We just had a win here tonight. It's a back-to-back situation. I don't think Ottawa's playing tonight, so they'll be fresh. Yeah, so I worry about tomorrow's game. Do they need to win it? I'd like them to continue putting up some points and I'd like to see a race. I don't think they'll last in a race and get a wild card spot, but I'd like to see a race where they're playing very meaningful games for the next month and a half. I'd really like that. And I'm hoping. But then that could change things at the trade deadline, because Hughes in his press conference said that they're not decided on whether they're buyers or sellers at the deadline, because if they're in a race, they might add. So, that's news that came out of the press conference that I don't know if it was totally unexpected for me to hear, but kind of. So I guess they figure, and look at the way they played today, right? This is a team that isn't necessarily out of games, That's a team that could win and could do something. So I think that's the way they're going. We'll see what happens. So I think anybody really expecting a Sean Monahan trade, like early one, like there's been rumors out there from writers, I don't think that happens. Not while they're playing like this. So, hey, Rob Dario, good to see you out there, buddy. Good to see you. Got about 8 minutes left in the show, though. But always good to see you out there. Rob Dario's been around a long time, been a member for a long time, too. So, I always like seeing those guys come back. And Matt Greer out there as well. Same thing. I'm well. I hope you are as well. Big question is, how long do we have Kent for? Hopefully a long time. I mean, as long as the team is viable and competitive and he stays. I mean, why would they fire him? If you're thinking, will he want to leave? I doubt that. He gave up. He changed careers, right? He was an agent. He had to sell his shares or whatever, right, to do this. I think he's planning to stay as long as he can, So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about Kent Hughes going anywhere. I wouldn't worry about Marty going anywhere, Jeff Gordon going anywhere. I think they're in this for the long haul. It would be nice to catch the Leafs, wouldn't it be? Everybody out there, I think, agrees. Just to see the Leafs fall down, miss the playoffs. Oh, I would love that. Oh, I would love that from the bragging of these fans in the offseason, at the beginning of the season, and then to see them miss the playoffs. I'm telling you, I'm drooling just thinking about it. Oh, great. The material we'll get out of that. Matt, I think it's a possibility still that they sign Sean Monahan. There was that, I don't know if it was a rumor or someone put out an article or something saying that they had promised Monahan that they would trade him to a contender by the deadline if he'd sign with them. That's not the case, though. There was no promise, according to Hughes at the press conference. There's none. All they promised him was that, I guess if there's the right deal, they would make the right move. And the deadline, they kind of see where they're at and then go from there. So if they're in a race, why are they trading Monahan? If they're willing to add, if they're in a race, they're not trading Monahan. So why would they trade him now? when they don't know where they're going to be at that point. So I don't see an early Monahan trade. And I do think it's a possibility that they sign him. It would make sense. At least to me. I think to a lot of people, though, now. Hey, Randy, good to see you out there. Armia, Monahan, Caulfield had an exceptional game. Yes, I agree. They were good. You know what? If you're going to trade somebody, now might be the time to try to move Armia because he's playing well. He's got 7 goals, got his first assist tonight. But he's playing well. Like, this is not the same Armia last year or the beginning of this year. His value might be at its highest now. You might actually be able to move him. So I wonder if we'll see an Armia trade. Not too early, but I hope he continues this play the way he's playing so that, once we get into February, mid-February, and teams start to make moves, that Armia could be moved. Randy, I think 100%. I mean, that's what Hughes basically said, right? So if they're going to make the playoffs, well, they're not moving Monahan. So moving him early now, how does that work into with what he said? It doesn't. And then you got guys like, who was it? Drager or Craig Button saying that somebody put it out, maybe Elliot Friedman, that Monahan deal is almost imminent and he'll probably move sooner than later. I don't agree with that. Not after the Hughes press conference. Hey there, Jeff. Slavkovsky looking more and more comfortable. Comfortable is not even he's beyond that. He's already comfortable. He's just improving every game. Seems like you can see the player that he's going to be. Like now, you could really see that player forming. Matt Greer, if we're legit in a race, what picks or prospects do we give up to add if they believe we sneak in? Well, he kind of said it. If you read between the lines of that press conference, they're stacked with D prospects, good ones too. You use some of the young D and some of their picks. They've got 22 picks over the next 2 years. You don't trade your first round picks, but you trade some of those picks. I think that's, they got trade capital with that, So I think that's who, would move if they're going to make any deals. Born to be Hab, I agree with you. Unless a deal comes along that's you can't refuse, but I don't think he's talking about adding big pieces. He's talking about adding players that will really help. He's looking for players that have that 200-foot game, responsible defensively. Like he's looking for a certain type of player that with the rumors with Trevor Zegras, I don't see Zegras being that guy. I don't see him being a Habs kind of guy. So I don't think that deal would happen. Matt Greer, no, I'm agreeing with you. Through the deadline. I still Matt and I were talking about this. I don't know how many shows, but a couple of months ago we were already on that. Maybe we keep Sean Monahan. Randy says, I'm not sure if I got this right. I wish everyone who celebrates a Habs victory would not have a first thought to think of trading away our players who are playing well. I don't think we're talking about trading too many guys off the roster, if that's what you mean. Maybe one of the young defensemen, but I'm talking more of the guys that are in the minors that are, there's a bunch of prospects that are, if not ready yet, they're really close. And we got a lot on defense. That's what I'm talking about. But I mean, I don't see them trading away. I mean, if what he said is true and that's how they're thinking, where they want to see where they're at then they're not trading guys away or helping them and playing well. Those are the guys that are going to get you to the promised land, as they say, right? So yeah, I don't see that happening. All right, got a couple more minutes left, and I'm going to take off. So yeah, you got the last few minutes to get any questions in. Does anyone know why, besides money, the NHL Center Ice Package only gives one city feed? It would be nice to hear the Montreal broadcast. Yeah, I never really thought of that. Is there a Montreal broadcast necessary? I don't think it's a Montreal broadcast anymore. Or you mean that you're getting the American feed? I got the Canadian feed. But I have Sportsnet. I don't have NHL Center Ice. Well, I kind of am, aren't I? I mean, I'm saying that I don't, I'm not saying to trade. Listen, Armia, I'm sorry, he could fall off again, and then he's like an anchor around the neck. While he's playing well, there's not a future here for Armia. So you move him if you can. Monahan, though, no. But even Armia, right? If you're in a playoff run, yeah, you might not move him because there's no need. He's got a year left. He's not walking, but I mean, even if he does, I don't care. When do you think? Why? By the way, Wi-Fi didn't stick. It's not a name he really likes. He said it didn't stick in the locker room. It's Sheriff. He's the sheriff. When do I think Jack will be back up? Well, I've got a video out. It's a poem, but it's what it's about. I think by the end of the All-Star break at the latest, it's kind of what I'm hearing. They have this 9-day break at the end of January, beginning of February, and then the All-Star break. So no need to call them up before that. During that time off, let them play in Laval. And then I think by the time, they're back from the All-Star break, I think we'll see Jack back. But my opinion, and I've heard this out there, but do I know that's good? I don't know. It's a guess still. Yeah, Jeff, that's that. I don't know who puts the NHL package up. It's not Sportsnet, but that's a contract thing I guess with them. They got the American feeds cheaper, I guess. If Slav continues to play this way, how many goals does he finish with? Good question, actually. Born to be a Hab. I like that one. He's got 6 now. We have this was game 44. So there's 36 games left. I'm going to say 12 to 14, maybe 16 is high. It depends if he has like a real good flourish near the end. Like these guys could really click going forward. Like we've seen them play really well, but I mean, going forward as the season progresses to the end, they could get even better. But I'm going to say somewhere between 12 and 16 because it's really hard to nail it down any more than that. And you know what? In his second season as a 19-year-old, if he gets that, I'm going to be really happy with that. I kind of thought he might get more than that before the season. I predicted, I think, 18 and 25 for him. I think he's got a shot at the 25. So I think he has a shot to come close to, somewhere around 35 to 40 points total. But he still has to play he's got to play well for the rest of the games. Anyway, Gallagher gets moved. I'll only say this. If you were an NHL GM, are you taking on that contract for 4 more years? I don't think I am. So unless there's a huge sweetener involved and you figure it's worthwhile, I don't think so. And besides, I'm not coming down on Galley at this point. At least he's playing hard. I mean, that guy's working. I don't think anybody works harder on the ice than Galley does. And he's having a modicum of success this year. He's played every game. Has he missed a game? Maybe one, or I don't even know if he's missed a game. Who would have thought that? 44 games in. So he's a little overpaid. I don't think they can move the contract. So good on Galley, though, for working and not like some of the players would sort of just, I'm signed. I'm getting paid. What's the difference? Right? I mean, look at Nylander in Toronto. Apparently, since he signed his new contract, hasn't had a point. That's pretty bad. He might have got one in the last game. I don't know, but he hasn't scored much. That's a guy I don't want. I don't want to. Galley's not like that, so I give him a break there. And I think that's fair. Another minute or two, and that's it. So last chance to get your questions in. Last call for alcohol. It's motel time. Very impressed with Strubal's been fantastic. To the point where he was, not that he was a game time decision. What did they say? He either wasn't feeling well, something was off with him, but he played. They had Kovacevic. They could have, and they didn't. So it tells you Strubal's already moved up in their depth chart, I think, like a big time. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Strubel. He's very steady. He's just very steady. Doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes, and he's just very steady and does a lot of good things too. Like you notice that, So yeah, very impressed with Strubel. And a surprise because I kind of wrote him off at the in the off season. In my predictions, I kind of wrote him off. I didn't think he would be here. I thought they'd move him and he wouldn't be anything much, but he's very impressive. David Slaff actually lost weight coming into the season, dropped about that, like 20 pounds. And look how much better he is. So I don't know about that. I don't think that kind of weight. I think he's 19. He'll still put muscle on. And maybe over the next 4 years or something like that, he might, but he'll grow into it more naturally. But he lost like 18 or 20 pounds in the off season, apparently. Born to be a Hab. It would be nice that if they can win a cup in the next 4, because I don't think Galley gets re-signed or anything. That really would be nice. I don't know that Montreal's going to win a cup before the end of his contract, but it would be nice. Have a good night, David. Thanks for being here. On that note, I'm taking off as well. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Jeff, I appreciate that it's your first time. I don't know if I've ever gotten this, obviously, to say welcome to the channel, and I don't know how long you've been watching, but I appreciate it. Thank you for liking the content. And welcome to the chat. And be a regular. We are always looking for more people to talk with. Always. So on that note, do this again. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. It was a great game. It was fun to watch, and it was fun to share it with y'all. And I'll be back tomorrow. Preview video in the morning, and the game and the post-game show tomorrow night. So hopefully you'll all be back for that. Have a great rest of the evening. Thanks for sharing it with me. That's going to be it. So till next time, stay safe, everybody. Peace out and enjoy the night. Ciao, everybody. Keep your stick on the ice and go Habs go. Can't forget that. Ciao, everybody. If I can find my cursor.